A completely drunk woman is walking down the street when she spots a taxi and starts to get into the car. The taxi driver, worried about the woman, asks if she was okay and where she wanted to go. A man then says that every time the woman drinks she gets like that. Meanwhile, a man in the distance observes the situation behind a tree. The taxi driver then gets out of the car and goes to the two. She asks where the man was taking the woman, but he says it was okay, because that woman was his girlfriend. Suspicious, the taxi driver asks why the woman is like that. The man says that she has had too much to drink and that he will take her home. The taxi driver then says that she is going to take the woman home, but the man says it wasn't necessary as he was going to take her. Then the two start walking to the man's car. He lays her down on the back seat of the car. The taxi driver is still very suspicious of the situation. When she looks in the car seat, she sees the woman's cell phone and says she will give it to the woman. She approaches the car. The man gets a little stressed about it and asks what she wanted. She says the woman had forgotten her cell phone in her car. The man thanks her and says she can give it to him. Still suspicious of the situation, the taxi driver tells the man to say the password to the woman's cell phone first so she can be sure that the man was really her boyfriend, but the man gets impatient and tells her to hand over the cell phone soon because he was in a hurry. The taxi driver says that all he had to do was say the password and she would hand him the cell phone, but the man gets mad and takes the cell phone from the woman and tells her to leave. The man then tells the woman in the back seat that they were now alone. The woman starts to get up and say she didn't want to be there. He then tells her to be silent as the two are going to have a great time together. The woman then asks him to please release her, but the man gets angry and tells her to be silent, because she wouldn't like what would happen to her if she didn't. The man then takes out his cell phone and starts talking to his boss. He says he was with whom the boss asked, that she was the way his boss liked it, and says that his boss was supposed to trust him. The man then tells the woman to get ready, because her time has come, but she is very scared and asks the man to please let her go. Meanwhile, the taxi driver is getting into her car, still very suspicious of the situation. She says that she feels that the man was not a good person and that he is going to do something bad to the woman. She wonders what she could do and starts looking for something. She finds a pen and says she has an idea. Then she gets out of the car. Meanwhile, that man was still watching everything behind the tree. The woman peeks out from the side of the man's car. She takes her pen and starts to stick it in the car tire. Then she goes to talk to the man and says that his tire was flat and asks if he would need help. The man says that wasn't possible, but the taxi driver says it was true. She says she understands some things about mechanics because her father had taught her and that from what she understands, the man would not be able to leave the place that way. The man gets angry and says he doesn't need the taxi driver's help, because he would fix it himself, so he goes to see what was going on. The taxi driver shows him the flat tire and the man says he'll fix it himself and he'll need to get the tools from the trunk. While the man was busy with the tools, the taxi driver opens the car door and takes the woman out of there and leaves with her. The man then finishes picking up the tools when he sees the two fleeing and runs after them. He gets mad and asks the taxi driver to open the car door. The woman then asks the taxi driver not to let the man in and the taxi driver tells her to stay calm and will get them out. While the man was trying to open the door, the other man who was behind the tree comes to help and forcefully pulls him away from the car. He tells the man to stay away from them and that he will call the police on the man. The man says it wasn't necessary, but the other man says she won't get away. He spots a policewoman walking nearby and calls out to her. He says to arrest the man. The taxi driver then gets out of the car and goes to help the woman. She says that man was trying to kidnap the woman and she says that the man drugged her. Then the policewoman takes the man to the police station. The woman then thanks the two for their help and says she doesn't know what could have happened to her if they hadn't helped her. The taxi driver says that it was her duty as a woman to help her at a time when she needed it. The man then says that he saw the woman in need of help from afar and came to help her.